Cleanliness matters. You can have the best decorated house. You can have the most updated appliances, great speakers. None of it matters if they find dust or if they feel uncomfortable. So a hallmark of our business that we were made sure to get right from the beginning was the cleanliness part.
Welcome to How We Grow, an essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz. With your host, Lynell Gordon. Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. I'm Lynell Gordon, your host, and today I'm very excited to have Anne-Marie O'Rourke with us, and she is the owner of Sandpiper Management and Vacation Rentals, and they're a boutique property management company outside of Charleston, including Kiowa Island and Seabrook Island, and she is known for her hands-on approach to the business and exceptional attention to detail, which is really exciting, Anne, I got to tell you. So she blends strategic leadership, strong communication, and hospitality-driven mindset to create memorable experiences for her guests while giving her homeowners peace of mind. Welcome, Anne. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Likewise. Thank you for having me on the show.
So I want to ask you, you bought this company, you had business experience, but you bought this company already established in some way, and then grew it. So my question to you is this: what advice would you give to property managers who want to grow their property management company?
I think it's an overwhelming question.
For sure. 100%. I give you that.
I think a good place to start is, why did you want to do this work? What makes you love this work? Because it's grueling work. It is demanding work. It requires attention to detail, as you said, and you really want to focus on, what can I offer my clients? Why do I want to do it? And how can I do it a little bit differently? Like, what's unique? Where's my fingerprint on all of this and the longevity of that?
So what do you think is the most overlooked aspect of property management for people who are working in it every day and looking to grow their business? What do they overlook detail-wise that they should really concentrate on to make their guest stay like more memorable, or whatever you think?
I think a lot of our owners pay attention to the decor and the furnishings of their home, all the amenities they offer, and none of that really matters if the property isn't clean. Cleanliness matters. You can have the best decorated house. You can have the most updated appliances, great speakers. None of it matters if they find dust or if they feel uncomfortable. And once someone finds something unclean, they start looking for other issues. So a hallmark of our business that we were made sure to get right from the beginning was the cleanliness part. My dad was in commercial cleaning for about 40 years. I had a good standard of what cleanliness requires. I think there's a difference between something looking clean or made to appear clean and really clean. So having the best cleanliness enhanced practices is really important to us. So that would include, we're at the beach, bare feet, checking the floors, that's only vacuum or mop really well, getting on the floor and making sure it's clean under the beds. We launder all our comforters. This is really important for every stay. So, no one wants to pull up a comforter to their face and not know when the last time it was laundered. So all those practices are really key.
We travel a lot. My husband refuses to ever use anything that's on the bed comforter-wise. But I say to him, sweetheart, they do wash them. They do clean them. They have to. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, no, I didn't see this particular comforter being cleaned, but that's a good standard practice. So I think that's really good advice. Cleanliness, I love the fact that you said it's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, people want to stay in a clean place, not just something that looks clean, but something that is clean. But you said something really that's profound. When people find their place is dirty, they have a tendency to nitpick everything else. Is that the truth?
It is the truth. Yes.
If you ever look on Airbnb and you look at the reviews, guys, or if you look at your own reviews, we travel a lot. And I happened to be looking at reviews on Airbnb recently, and I noticed that the first thing that people were going to talk about was it not being clean. And if not, then they notice every little jot and tittle that's not correct, and you'll find a long review. So I agree with you. That's really important. What things did you change when you walked into that company? Well, number one, to make it more profitable or to help it grow after you purchased it?
Sure. So there's definitely a learning curve, because my experience, I had rented out our own house and been successful with that on platforms like VRBO and Airbnb, but I had never specifically in this industry worked in this field. So there was definitely a learning curve and you don't know until you're in it. So, for example, the cleaning aspect, I was given a set of cleaners. People were kind of running their own show and it was not up to standard. They were coming and going as they pleased. They were entering properties as they pleased. So, we were the best cleaners in the area and why they didn't want to work with us. They wanted to be paid the same day. They wanted to sit down and talk about what that process should look like in terms of respect and requirements. And I made all of that happen and I took a risk. I decided to pay my staff more with the idea that cleaning part right, we'd all be more profitable and it would be a win for all of us. I made a change. Everybody that was employed was no longer our cleaning teams. I replaced the cleaning teams with incredible local staff. And I'm happy to say a lot of our staff is 6-7 years or more. And we all employ the same practices. There's uniformity in our work and they really care about their work. So the cleaning teams that work on a house are usually the same ones that go into the same houses. And everybody takes pride and ownership of the work we do for our owners.
And that directly affects your reviews, I'm sure.
It does. And we're really proud to see often people write, this is the cleanest property I've ever stayed in. Cleanliness is mentioned all the time in reviews, and the reviews are so powerful and certainly the best compliment you can get.
For sure. What's been one of the most challenging decisions you've had to make as the owner?
I think you have to hit the right balance between focus on owners and a focus on guests. So I think a lot of times we focus upon the guest experience and sacrifice our relationship with our owners to different extents. I think we've hit a really nice balance of our loyalty to our owners and what they expect of us and maintaining our relationships with them and building relationships with guests at the same time, that it's a win for everyone and everyone's happy. And I think part of the way we do that is setting expectations that are realistic and talking about custom goals. Like we're not a one size fits all property management. Some owners live in their house half the year and rent it half the year. Some people want to rent the heck out of it to make a profit and do well. And other people, their number one concern is how well cared for is my home, which is a very legitimate question. So, protecting our owners and advocating for them. And at the same time, advocating for our guests and creating experiences, spending a lot of money to stay here that we appreciate that and want to build the best memories for them as possible.
So, given your deep background in cleanliness, talk to me about what do you think is the most overlooked detail that's important in cleaning a vacation rental that you said, oh, that's got to change, other than the comforters? I agree with the comforters. That's an excellent point, guys. Just incredible. But is there something else that you went, wow, this really needs to change and it needs to happen?
Sure. So, and I think when a lot of talented cleaners come to us, they all have different practices and people do things different ways, which we appreciate. But there's certain things we always need to do well. Two things. I think the floors are so important. As I mentioned, in a beach community, people are in their bare feet. Having a floor that appears clean is not enough. You really need to have it well mopped. There's sand, there's dirt. Floors are key. Also, I think from the moment the guest steps out of their vehicle to check in, you're making an impression. So people may clean the inside of the property, but you need the stairs swept off. You need it to smell clean, not over perfumey, but it needs to be clean. Something we do, which a lot of businesses do as well, is have an inspector go in, turn on a light inside and outside, set the music on the TV, adjust the temperature, and just make sure it looks the way you would want it to look when you enter a property for stay.
I love that. I think that's important. I am very happy that you mentioned the floors because my first thought was there's always sand. And you're right. They're in their bare feet when they come into the house and they want that to be clean. So let me ask you this. So I was very interested to find out about you, Anne, that you also have done freelance writing and you've been published in like the Huffington Post, Mind Body Green, and Thrive Global, and lots of other things on topics that cover everything from current events to family life and parenting. Tell me, what do you see missing in our industry in property management as far as those types of advice outlets?
So I think it's really important to have our own personal stamp on the work we do. And I think there's no substitute for that. And the long game on all of this is building relationships. So building relationships with our owners, building relationships with our colleagues. And we're not all competitors. There's enough for us all to win. And what can I learn from you? What can I learn from other people in the industry? All of that matters. And I think having honest conversations about the real details of everything and how we could do the smaller things better, like slowing down and just making sure we get it right in certain areas is so important.
The Vacation Rental Show is proud to partner with Lynbrook, the experts in vacation payment solutions. Their comprehensive platform features guest ID, authentication, and mobile wallet support while directly integrating into your reservation system. With decades of experience, Lynbrook provides unmatched expertise in integrated homeowner payments, chargeback mitigation, and fraud protection for both you and your guests. Contact them online at lynbrookgroup.com to learn more. What about your communication with your owners and your guests, considering the fact that you are a writer? What did you find when you bought this company? What did you find that was missing in that communication?
I think, and I've learned, even if you don't have the right answer, like sometimes owners will ask an answer that I really don't know in that moment. It's important to always get back to them right away and say, even if you just say, hey, I'm looking into it. People just want to know that that connection remains open. Communicating with them on the STR law changes, communicating with them on this is what's you're to expect for the upcoming year. And these are some obstacles we're facing. And these are some great new challenges. And I think we can move into this midterm market and all those things. So we continually communicate with our owners and we run new ideas by them. I want them to buy into the process. So, we might say, hey, we're making these 4 suggestions for your property. Let us know what you think. And the same with guests, that I think clear communication, even prior to their arrival, building a relationship. These are the expectations. If you're a college student throwing a party, this probably isn't the island for you. And there are great places nearby for that. But setting clear expectations and it helps to create a better experience for everyone.
You'll send all of them down to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
Or Cherry Grove. Let's send them to Cherry Grove. I don't know that my friend Brady would appreciate that one because he has houses there. But when you talk about communication with your homeowners and having that personal communication, what are some of the things that your homeowners have reached out to you, homeowners that you took over when you bought the company? What have they said to you about your management or ownership?
I think owning a home here, or owning a villa, it's one of the most expensive things that someone's going to own in their lifetime. And I appreciate that fact and realize, they're putting it in our hands. So there's a lot of trust involved, and communication is really the backbone of instilling that trust, that we are your eyes and ears, we're your boots on the ground, and I'll let you know what's going on in your home. I believe transparency in the process. Monthly they get their billing statement. There's no surprises. If there's a repair to be done, they understand what it costs. There's no mystery of, something broke and what's this mystery amount. I think that matters. And also customizing, we said, their goals. Everyone has very different ideas of what they want for their home. And if we have that conversation before it hits the rental market, and as it progresses, people's goals change. People want different things. Some people plan to move down here permanently into the home. Some people move on and decide they want to sell it. There's all different things in between. So communicating with them on those things really matters.
So you have a boutique. It's been described as a boutique property management company. Tell me how that differs from, say, a large scale business that they have, 20 miles from you, those big ones that they have down that way. So how is yours different?
So even when I was a rental owner and I shopped out who was going to help me with my home, I was told, hey, this is how we do it and see if it's a fit. So I think our approach is different in that we have an idea of 5 different ways or 6 different ways it can look. Tell me what you're looking for and we'll see if it's a fit, honestly. So we appreciate there's all different types of scenarios, and we're very clear on what we can't do, that we know what we do best and what models are all in one management. I don't want to just do housekeeping and not do the rental piece. We understand how, if we're handling it all, we communicate better as a team. So we're very honest about what we can't do, but at the same time, it's custom.
So tell me what your favorite part of the management is. What's your favorite part of managing your company?
The success is on both sides in terms of the relationships. So I have clients that started with me years ago as owners and, saw me through the very beginning of starting, the business, and asking a lot of questions, I think too, because they wanted to have that confidence in me. And now seeing them, so confident in our services and recommending us, and seeing how our relationship has kind of evolved over time. It's a real wonderful thing to feel that trust and that recommendation. And on the guest side too, seeing people start out coming, for the first time and the wonderment with the first visit, and then coming annually and asking for recommendations and then bringing additional family. Like that's what it's all about to us. And then saying, hey, can you recommend a realtor? We're interested in coming here all the time. So that's a really nice thing to witness.
Do you have a real estate partner or do you have one in your office that you use?
We work with various realtors throughout the areas. There's some really great realtors that we have the good fortune of knowing, and we're happy to refer them. And we do rental evaluations for them in terms of projections on properties of what we think a person interested in purchasing that property could make.
What do you think the number one important business experience that you had was that helped you when you started this business, since you came from a business background?
I was thinking about this week, that it's funny how life is, that there are some big challenges in the beginning in terms of competition. It's not always the nicest. It can be cutthroat here. And a lot of things I thought were setbacks were really setups for a bigger situation and learning experiences. Like, I think some of those difficulties in terms of people competing and not being so nice led me to, be on my game and try a little bit harder and really figure out how I could differentiate myself in an honest way that presented something other people weren't offering. So those competitors, not being that nice really led me into a great spot.
I love the fact that you said the setbacks that you got, you turned and you really realized they were set ups for success. That's pretty bold. And that's a really great way to look at that. We know that we can't have success without failure. We know that happens. And I try to instill, especially in my son, my youngest son, the fact that you're going to fail. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to fail. It's going to happen. So just get up and do it again, or get up and do it better. What's some business advice that you would give to property managers who are looking to improve their business?
There's so many different areas you can look at in terms of figuring out how you do things uniquely is the most important, and what you can offer. Something small we do, which is, it might seem insignificant, but we leave handwritten notes. So someone says they're celebrating a birthday, there's a greeting card for them saying happy birthday. Someone's celebrating their sweet 16, and we have recommendations of where they can go before they get here. We leave little gifts, whether it's a bottle of wine or the QA marathon was here. We just have little running gifts, or there's tennis tournaments. All those little things matter. Dog treats, they're so affordable, and in little baggies with ribbons. Also, reaching out for help with things that you're not sure how to do. Talk to colleagues about marketing, talk to other people in your industry about where you need to improve and what you can do. Communication, like you said, is key. We do a newsletter, social media. Can't imagine how many people come from social media that have noticed our little Facebook page, our Instagram, and that's really important too.
Yeah, I believe that. That's really, if you can get referrals from that, that's really amazing. Tell me your favorite homeowner story.
So I talk about that one homeowner that we had who started with us that wasn't sure we were the right choice, but gave us a go. And he saw us through some of the learning curves in the beginning. And then seeing him and his wife trust us more. They stop in whenever they're here visiting, and seeing their needs change was really a wake up call to how the process evolves. Like, they used to come down all the time, and then life got in the way, and then there's some health issues, and everything from them being pet friendly to saying our insurance changed and now they won't let us be pet friendly. Can you move with this? And hey, we don't want to rent it as much anymore because we're going to use it. And then saying, hey, I have these issues going on, we're going to rent it more. I appreciate their loyalty, but understanding that needs change and we have to pivot with those needs is really eye-opening, and it's what the work is essentially about.
I love that personal touch there. That's huge, because you're right. Needs do change. I haven't ever had anybody say that. I've done a lot of these interviews. I think that is really an important thing to recognize, is that year to year, if we're not communicating with our homeowners individually, if we don't know what's happening with them, how are you going to know those needs have changed?
Yes, and not taking them personally. Someone used to put a property on the market. I'm like, oh no, but realizing everyone has so many different things going on in their lives, and you can anticipate some and most you can't. So just learning how to pivot and support owners and guests as much as you can is really key.
And don't take it personally. Tell me your favorite guest story or most interesting or whatever you think.
Well, I'm sure we all have interesting nightmare stories, but
For sure. And some of them we laugh at now. We didn't laugh at the time, but you can laugh afterwards.
no, definitely not. But we had guests that came and loved this property. They love the marsh view. They love the fire pit. They love the water. And they would rent year after year. And then unexpectedly hearing from them, and they became owners of, well, they were looking at another property of ours for sale, and then that didn't take place. And then hearing from them again, and they became owners of a property that we now manage. I think seeing that trajectory of visitor to frequent visitor to owner not only reminds me of my pathway, so many people's pathway on the island, that keeping in mind guests are potential future neighbors, future community members, future owners, and the world is a lot smaller than you think at times too. So that just brings in a focused community for me and the heart of what we do here.
Been very successful at taking guests and creating returning guests. What are some secrets that you can share with people about that?
I believe people can choose from any of the companies out there in your area, and people are always going to undercut in terms of price. People have some gimmick to get people to book, but genuinely, there's no replacement for answering the phone and answering a question. There's no replacement for the conversation about, hey, where's a hidden gem of a restaurant? Or I'm thinking of taking this boat tour, these other 2 tours. What do you recommend? Those conversations are really valuable. And people choose this island that's hidden and quiet and charming and brings into focus everything charming about the South and Charleston because it's local. And I think people want to feel seen and heard and experience what's local. So I think corporations can have all these big things over us, but they can't have that.
The relationship that matters.
Yes, absolutely.
Is there any other advice you'd like to give property managers?
It's a lot of ups and downs through the industry. We saw COVID, we saw all the different trends where we're wondering, oh, is it going to be totally vacant? Then it was completely full, not knowing what to expect next. Do I have workers? Do I have guests? Just riding out all of the twists and turns with, STR laws and all these different things going on, that just to take it in stride and try and back up and look at the things you can control. There's so much in our work that we can't control, but accounting for those things we can control. You can control the cleanliness. You can control a lot of the guest experience. You can control how you react when the uncontrollable happens. I think people don't necessarily have a problem with the issues that come up, but how quickly you resolve them. So all of those things matter.
I really appreciate, Anne, you coming on and talking to me. You have one of my favorite areas of the world that you work in. I love that area, and I wish you the very best going forward. And thank you for being willing to share with people your advice for growing property management company. You've done an amazing job. I know that you do it because you love it. You can tell that your passion comes through. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I love talking with you. This is wonderful. Thanks for having me.
This episode of the Vacation Rental Show was brought to you by Lynbrook. To find out more about how Lynbrook Group can help grow your vacation rental business, visit lynbrookgroup.com. Make sure to search for The Vacation Rental Show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team at Inhabit, thanks for listening.